How would you compare yourselves to those who represent themselves?
This day and age, it's a very complex business arena out there. And I would say, unless it's a very small amount, in which case, regardless of the outcome, it's just not worthwhile hiring somebody else. You might want to represent yourself. But even small claims courts have become quite complex now. They've raised the limit to $25,000. Some of the rules that apply to Superior Court now apply to small claims court. You need to know what you're doing. The trials can be very lengthy. Judges, even though the small claims court is a court of equity, will apply the rule of law much more forcefully than they used to. And just the business landscape itself is complex in how you sue and how you proceed and what you do. So I would say that representing yourself these days is not a particularly good idea. Now that may sound like a very self-serving statement, and it is, I don't deny that. But truthfully, it's much harder now to get ahead and get a judgment because of all the complex procedural issues. And the other thing is, if you're not careful and don't do your homework and structure your claim in the right way, you may wind up with a judgment that's going to be virtually useless to you. So you will have put in all that effort, you will not be able to get the money, and then, out of frustration, you may turn to somebody and say, please help me because I've done all the work already. All I need you to do is to collect this money. And then sadly, I've got to tell this person, well, you know what? It's going to cost you quite a bit of money because I've got to do this all over again. What you have here simply is not worth the paper it's printed on. And the worst part of it is sometimes, by the time they come to us, it's too late because it could be statute barred or the time has elapsed, and I cannot go after any other possible defendants because too much time has gone by. You need to get legal advice. That's a much better way. You wouldn't think of treating yourself if you had a medical problem, if it was something serious. Don't do it with a legal issue either.
Any final thoughts or comments?
Yes. I've said this before, and I think it's worth repeating. It pays to be patient and kind to your clients. Try to work with them, but don't wait too long. Because if they're not paying you, they're obviously not paying other people. You don't want to be the last person in line waiting for funds that probably will never come. So you have to tell yourself, I will not wait too long. If you've got billables that, let's say your terms are 30 days, by 90 days, which makes them 60 days past due, you should either have a partial payment, and if you don't have a partial payment, you have to have a mechanism in your company that says, okay, we're now going to send him a letter that says, if we don't get money in within 7 days, this goes to a third party. And if you're dealing with someone who's forthright and honest, they will understand that. Because they understand you cannot afford to carry them indefinitely. Don't wait too long, because the older a file is, the harder it's going to be to collect.
Thank you very much. That was excellent.
My pleasure.